Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto El Patron as he's known
Del,
now.
say his name right.
Del Rio.
You got to roll the R. Del Rio. I
Uh,
used to do that, and Vince would go nuts. He'd say, "Tell him to say his name over and over." Alberto Del Rio. He loved that.
well, you know how WWE was sneaking over the
Oh,
border to
and,
buy up
and
AAA?
he loved that too. He's sneaking across the board.
For those who don't know, that's Zeb Colter, what Dutch Mantell used to do on WWE. He used to say that about Alberto Del Rio. Right, so it's only taken WWE a few weeks to apparently start interfering in AAA affairs after saying that they absolutely would not be interfering in AAA affairs. What do you think of that?
Yep.
Are you surprised?
Well, no, I'm not. But this is the first time I've heard about this thing you're going to bring up.
Yeah, indeed. So, only a few weeks after, WWE bought AAA, there's going to be a WWE and AAA Worlds Collide pay-per-view on June the 7th in Inglewood, California. It's the same day as Money in the Bank, but it's different times. Obviously, they're not going to run against themselves, I suppose. This is going to feature, we think probably in the main event, or, if not in the main event, very close to it, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable. So what, I hear you ask? Well,
Yeah.
what's the problem here? Okay. WWE Raw last night. The match was billed as a title bout, Chad versus Vikingo, for the AAA Mega Championship, which is their top title. Here's the problem.
Alberto.
Vikingo is not the title holder. Alberto El Patron is. So, in the Mexican version of WWE Raw, which was broadcast on Netflix across the world, but on the Mexican version, they cut out the bit where they said it would be for the main title. But in the American version, and the UK version, I believe as well, they said it was a title match. And for some reason, the top brass in WWE thought this would not get out to Mexico in 2025 with internet.
Oh, wait a minute. Who determined this? The top brass at TKO?
Yeah, or WWE
Wait
at
a
least,
minute.
yeah.
TKO, they may be big time dealers in big time companies, but that's a simple fact. You got to look at that. And they got fans, and they're all talking right now. And they don't want that publicity, but it's by their own mistake that they brought it out there.
WWE has, made this public. And wouldn't you believe now, and I bet this is going to stun you, is that this weekend there is a AAA Mega Championship match between Alberto El Patron versus Vikingo. I bet you cannot believe it.
That is stunning. That is. I expect some fireworks at that show.
You're going to
You
tune
know, Alberto is pretty stubborn.
Yeah, what if he just said, no, I'm not doing it? I mean, obviously he'd be fired.
Oh, he could do that. He might be saying it right now, unless he's got a deal in place. He could say, "I'm not doing it." Period. I'm just not.
He has. WWE
Unless,
signed him.
yes, that's what I'm saying. So they gave all the power to Alberto that he wants to deal at such and such an amount, then he'll do it. Which is basically just doing business. And I can't blame him there either.
So we don't know what's going to happen, obviously, because it's going to be this weekend, but we are very much presuming that Vikingo is going to win the title and then defend it against Chad Gable or El Grande Americano, whichever one he turns up as. But here's the thing. I was trying to think of when this has happened before, where companies have absolutely telegraphed that somebody is going to win a world title. And maybe one of the most famous ones was Randy Savage at WrestleMania 4, where I don't know if it was some sort of program or they released it to newspapers, the results of WrestleMania 4, before the show had happened.
Good. I'll tell you who else did it, and it's well publicized.
Go on.
Jeff Jarrett in China.
Yeah, of course.
He made Vince give him his I mean, a bunch of money and his WrestleMania payoff and this, that, and the other, and it had to be a certain amount before he would put China over. You remember that, don't you?
1999. I remember it very well. He was the IC title holder, and his contract expired like that day or the day before, probably the day before.
Yeah.
And they always say that they held up, Jeff Jarrett held up Vince for so-and-so money, or he wasn't going to show up. But the way Jeff says it, it was like $150,000 or something like that. And it was essentially 3 months worth of pay that he hadn't already been paid, including merchandise royalties, pay-per-view bonuses, that kind of thing. So was it a hold-up? Was it not a hold-up? But they sure made it obvious that he was losing.
Well, what happened on the pay-per-view, you didn't get paid for the pay-per-view for like 3 months.
Yeah. Because
they had to get the cable company or, the pay-per-view company would have to wait till all the money was in. Then they divide it, and then it would take time for that to get out. He wanted it all in one clip. He wanted it at one time, and they gave in to him. It's not like he held them up for his own money. But I don't know. I've never asked him about it because I don't think he'd tell me anyway. It's his business. So, and Jeff always kept his business kind of close to the vest, and he wouldn't let everybody else know what he's doing, which is smart. And his daddy taught him that. But yeah, he did kind of hold Vince up, and Vince did it. He paid him, but I would say I need this in cash. They could write you a check and then cancel it. Just say we didn't write that check. So a lot of things should happen, but I think that was the one I remember.